India on Omicron alert. States get new guidelines. All contacts to be tested within 72 hours. Health Minister says booster dose decision will be taken by experts. Omicron patient escaped India, says Karnataka Minister. The South African left hotel and took a flight to Dubai. Meanwhile, Karnataka government says only fully vaccinated people will be allowed in malls and theatres. 12 suspected Omicron cases in Delhi hospital. All cases are passengers who tested positive on arrival from high-risk countries over the past 3 days. The results are not out yet. Cyclone Jawad alert in Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and West Bengal. Cyclone to make landfall on Saturday. It's the first December cyclone in Odisha in 100 years. And pollution hearing in the Supreme Court. The UP government tells Topco that pollution is coming from Pakistan. The Chief Justice retorts, should we ban Pakistani industries? Meanwhile, new task force and anti-pollution flying squads are set up. Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Rohit Wellington. Let's begin with our top story. India is on Omicron alert. 2 cases have been detected so far and 18 other samples have been sent for genome sequencing. Meanwhile, the Karnataka government has said that one of the 2 men found positive for Omicron escaped after taking a COVID negative certificate from a private lab. The state is also trying to track down 10 more people who reportedly went missing from the airport. Now, amid talks of booster dose, Union Health Minister on Friday said that experts will decide on booster shots. There will be no politics in this. Meanwhile, the state of Karnataka has announced new set of curbs, including cap on gatherings. Only fully vaccinated people will be allowed to enter theatres and malls in the state. The centre has issued new directions on quarantine and testing of contacts in clusters within 72 hours.
बूस्टर डोज के संदर्भ में हमारे एक्सपर्ट टीम ही तय करेगी। ये साइंटिफिक मार्गदर्शन के आधार पर हम आगे चलेंगे। ये मेरा क्लियर पार्लियामेंट के फ्लोर पर रिप्लाई है। हमारी सरकार सारे विषय में कोई कारण ही नहीं है कोई चीज छुपाने का रीजन ही नहीं है।
The health minister not making any promises on booster doses in the aftermath of the Omicron variant of COVID, despite this advisory from a government panel of experts calling for booster shots for people above 40 years old. However, the centre has sent states a new list of Omicron-linked do's and don'ts, asking the states to quarantine all contacts of a positive case and test them within 72 hours. The centre has also red-flagged clusters of cases, that is beyond international passengers, saying that any uptick in cases must have quarantining of contacts, isolation of positive cases, etc. States have been asked to be proactive in scaling up oxygen, ventilators, beds and medicines. Although evidence is still coming in, the government says that the severity of the disease is anticipated to be low because of population's high exposure to Delta variant of COVID as well as the high pace of vaccinations. The final confirmation against Omicron is the genome sequence test. There are 18 samples being tested, 12 in Delhi, 4 in Maharashtra and 2 in Tamil Nadu, and the process takes 2 to 4 days.
30-day genomic sequences के समय लगता था, आज हम 30 घंटे में genome sequencing कर सकते हैं.
However, at the Delhi's Omicron dedicated hospital, doctors said that it would take 4 to 5 days.
We received 12 patients. We have only 1 patient who is running fever. So we are doing complete workup, taking detailed travel history. Genome sequencing is the very time-consuming process.
Okay.
It takes 4 to 5 days.
The healthcare workers are once again gearing up to tackle COVID as Omicron variant is detected in India. But to ensure there is no third wave because of this variant, the healthcare experts have reiterated the need to follow COVID-appropriate behavior and vaccination as the key weapon in the fight against COVID-19. With camera person Manu Nair, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
Meanwhile, Karnataka government has now ordered a police investigation into how patient number 1 of the Omicron variant left India. The 66-year-old South African patient who has now been diagnosed with Omicron tested negative and flew to Dubai. Karnataka government is also now bracing for third wave just in case. They have announced new set of curbs.
A flurry of meetings and action in Bengaluru. India's first 2 Omicron cases emerged here. But not just that. One of them, a 66-year-old foreigner, quietly left the hotel in which he was quarantined and then the country itself after getting a COVID negative certificate from a private lab.
We are already given the complaint. We are instructed to the police commissioner and corporation commissioner also. Investigation must be thoroughly done. What is the mistake in the labs?
Patient number 2 was discharged from hospital some days ago, but went back in as part of the protocol after Omicron was confirmed. Samples from 5 of his contacts who tested positive have been sent for genomic sequencing. Results are expected in a couple of days. And in the latest in a series of clusters in educational institutions, 11 Class 8 students in a school in Kodagu district tested positive out of 53 tested, a positivity rate of over 20%. Students in class 6 to 10 are being tested too.
First, I would like to speak about
The health minister also met medical college heads to talk about getting ready for the third wave.
We have reviewed thoroughly about the preparedness for the third wave, or we could call it as this Omicron's effects, probable effects.
Karnataka has also decided to restrict entry to malls, cinemas and theatres only for the double vaccinated. Gatherings are limited to 500 people. There will be no functions at educational institutions until January the 15th. There will be compulsory testing of health workers and people with comorbidities or those above 65.
Do not go by the anecdotal note that this is just mild. It may change its behavior. So please be very, very cautious. Maintain as much caution as possible at this juncture. When it crosses a critical tipping point is when you will not be able to predict what it can do.
There are some new restrictions. For example, to get into a mall like this, you would need to be doubly vaccinated. But by and large, the city of Bengaluru is as busy and bustling as ever. But with the new variant having been detected and with cases on the rise, that could change if the state government decides that prevention is better than cure. With Govind and Kumar, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.
Now, there are 30 suspected cases of Omicron in Maharashtra now. Out of 2,821 passengers arriving from Omicron high-risk countries at Mumbai airport, 2 have tested positive. Additionally, field surveillance of all international passengers who have arrived since the 1st of November is underway. A total of 30 samples from both the airport and field surveillance have been sent for genome sequencing. Now, how long does genome sequencing take? This is the final confirmation for Omicron, but just how long does this test take? Here are 3 answers by 3 officials, including the health minister.
30-day जीनोमिक सीक्वेंसेस के समय लगता था, आज हम 30 घंटे में जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग कर सकते हैं.
We've now been able to do the turnaround time to around 3 days or less than a week. Yes. Which earlier when we began 1.5 years back would take a couple of weeks to months.
Genome sequencing is the very time consuming process. Okay. It takes 4 to 5 days to complete the whole sequencing.
All right, the other big story, there's Cyclone Jawad alert for Saturday in West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. Preparations have been made ahead of the landfall that's expected on Saturday. Meanwhile, the UGC NET exams in these 2 states of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh, due to this red alert issued, though the exams of UGC NET that were scheduled to be held on the 5th of December have now been rescheduled. Here's a ground report.
North Andhra Pradesh and South Odisha are bracing for Cyclone Jawad that is expected to make landfall early on Saturday.
The state administration has prepared itself for a possible landfall in Ganjam or Puri or Jagatsinghpur district, the associated wind speed will be around 80 to 90 km, gusting up to 100 km per hour.
Not just the state administration teams, but central forces have also been deployed.
NDRF की जितनी भी टीमें स्टेट्स ने मांगी, तीनों स्टेट्स ने, वेस्ट बंगाल, उड़ीसा एंड आंध्र प्रदेश ने, उतनी टीमें वहां अवेलेबल कर दी गई हैं. एडिक्वेट टीम्स हैव बीन डिप्लॉयड, टोटल 46 इन नंबर. IDS को अलर्ट रखा है ताकि किन्हीं टीम्स को अगर एयरलिफ्ट करके किसी स्टेट में पहुंचाने की जरूरत पड़े तो वो अवेलेबल हों.
With predictions of heavy to very heavy rain for Saturday, schools in Vizag and Srikakulam will stay closed. Wind speeds could go up to 110 km per hour on the rough sea, so fishermen have been told not to venture out. The cyclone alert comes even as Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy is touring the recently flood-hit areas of South Andhra Pradesh after unprecedented torrential rains in Anantapur, Kadapa, Chittoor and Nellore districts. Weather experts say after a record 130 years, Odisha is seeing a cyclone in the month of December. In Andhra Pradesh, however, in December 2018, there was Cyclone Fetai. Cyclones in December are very rare, and this is also being attributed to the global climate change phenomenon. With camera person Nagraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Polluted air is mostly coming from Pakistan. That's what the UP government told the Supreme Court during the hearing on pollution in Delhi and the nearby cities. That provoked a question from Chief Justice of India that UP lawyers could not answer. The lawyer representing the UP government said that Uttar Pradesh is downwind. Air is mostly coming from Pakistan. Whatever is happening is not necessarily in UP. The Chief Justice said, so you want the banning of industries in Pakistan? Meanwhile, one task force and 40 flying squads have been set up to ensure implementation of anti-pollution rules. Flying squads will be making surprise visits and inspections. Welcome back. Punjab poll battle is hotting up. Two chief ministers, Arvind Kejriwal of Delhi and Charanjit Channi of Punjab, are engaged in a war of words. How is this playing out on the ground? Mohammad Ghazali has this report.
Punjab में पैदा होने वाले हर बच्चे को फ्री और अच्छी शिक्षा देना पंजाब सरकार की जिम्मेदारी होगी.
जिन्हां नूं पता ही नहीं है कि पंजाब क्या है, वो पंजाब चा के साडे नाल आम आदमी दी गल्लां करदे.
Two chief ministers taking each other on in the battle for Punjab well before the election is even announced. Delhi's chief minister and Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal, for a Tiranga or tricolour rally near the border with Pakistan, hit back at his Punjab counterpart, who had dubbed the Aam Aadmi Party a party of the Kale Angrez and banged on his government's performance in Delhi.
मैं चाहे काला हूं, लेकिन मेरी नीयत अच्छी है. पंजाब में जो बच्चा पैदा होगा, उसको अच्छी शिक्षा, शानदार शिक्षा, सबसे अच्छी शिक्षा और फ्री शिक्षा देना पंजाब सरकार की जिम्मेदारी है. जितने भी स्कूल बनाने पड़ेंगे हम स्कूल बनाएंगे. जो मौजूदा स्कूल है उनको तोड़ के नई बिल्डिंग बनाई जाएंगी. पंजाब के टीचर बहुत दुखी हैं, बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं वो लोग. उन टीचरों को पक्का किया जाएगा, बेचारे कच्चे घूम रहे हैं. उनको अच्छी तनख्वाह देंगे, इज्जत वाली तनख्वाह देंगे और उनके सारे मसले हल किए जाएंगे.
Since launching the Aam Aadmi Party's political campaign, Kejriwal has been focusing on the border districts where the Congress swept 22 of the 25 seats. Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi is positioning the battle between his 50-day record as Chief Minister versus an outsider who does not understand Punjab.
ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੰਮਿਆ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਚ ਪੜਿਆ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਕਿਆ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਮ ਆਦਮੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ.
With Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party making poll promises, the pressure will be on the incumbent Congress government to deliver on its poll promises before the Model Code of Conduct is enforced in Punjab. With Sharat Sharma and Mohammad Ghazali, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
84% of India's 4,400 crore plus sugarcane dues for 2020-21 crushing season are pending with Uttar Pradesh. Ahead of the elections, the issue of sugarcane dues has become a sensitive one from western UP to districts near the Nepal border and eastern UP. The Adityanath government insists that it is ensuring payment on time, but reports from the ground suggest otherwise.
आपसे विनम्र निवेदन है माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी, 2-4 दिन में, 6 दिन में, 10 तारीख तक इसको भुगतान करा दीजिए किसी तरीके। बहुत ज्यादा किसान परेशान है, अब इनका दर्द नहीं देखा जा रहा है।
A BJP MLA's dramatic plea in this viral video over sugarcane dues in UP's Lakhimpur after this protest by farmers outside a private sugarcane mill that has not paid a massive 274 crore rupees for the 2020-21 crushing season. Despite this cheating and conspiracy FIR filed against the mill management 5 days ago.
30 नवंबर को कहा था 30 नवंबर तक पूर्ण भुगतान कर देंगे, इनने लेकिन भुगतान नहीं कर पाए।
Uttar Pradesh is one of India's largest producers of sugarcane. In the campaign for the 2017 assembly election, the BJP had promised swift clearance of sugarcane dues if voted to power. Home Minister Amit Shah in Western UP on Thursday claimed that 90% of UP's sugarcane dues have been paid.
अब तक 90% किसानों का गन्ने का भुगतान करने का काम हो चुका है और जो 10% का बाकी है वो भी इसकी प्रक्रिया चालू कर दी है।
But according to Government of India data tabled in Parliament on Wednesday, cane farmers across Uttar Pradesh have still not been paid dues worth 3,752 crores for the 2020-21 crushing season. This is 84% of all sugarcane dues in the country. The UP government accepts these figures but claims they do not tell the whole story. According to the UP government, the state's total cane dues for 2020-21 were 33,400 crore rupees, of which 29,600 crore rupees or 90% have been cleared. But it's an unending wait for farmers who have not been paid yet. 500 kilometers from Lakhimpur, in western UP's Shamli, the home turf of UP's sugarcane minister Suresh Rana, Rajneesh Kumar, a farmer with 5-acre land holdings, shows us this receipt worth more than ₹1 lakh for sugarcane sold in February this year, but says he has not received even a rupee so far.
उसे प्रिंसिपल को फोन करा, भाई पेमेंट आ जाएगा, दे देंगे, पेमेंट आया नहीं। वो कहना पापा जी उन्होंने तो मना कर दी, फिर भी 3 रुपए सैकड़ा 15,000 रुपए ब्याज पे लेके स्कूल में जमा करे।
Unpaid dues are being used by the opposition to target the government.
आप ही को मालूम है कि गन्ना का कितना आपको भुगतान मिला, अभी भी 4,000 करोड़ का भुगतान बचा है। एक हवाई जहाज जिसमें सिर्फ नरेंद्र मोदी जी बैठ के घूमते हैं 8,000 करोड़ का है, आपका पूरा गन्ना का भुगतान 4,000 करोड़ का है।
Amid the politics, UP's farmers wait anxiously for cane dues to be cleared. With Ravi Shukla, Prateek Srivastav and Vineet Verma, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
In some other news, a group of right-wing activists and locals on Friday again stopped Muslims from offering namaz at a designated open site in Gurgaon, despite heavy police presence on the ground. Around 6 to 7 people were detained and 5 of them were let off after questioning, police sources have said. Videos from the namaz site at Sector 37 showed protesters shouting Jai Shri Ram and Bharat Mata Ki Jai slogans from less than 30 meters as a small group of Muslims offered Friday prayers. And finally, economist Geeta Gopinath has got a big promotion. Geeta Gopinath, the chief economist of the International Monetary Fund, has been promoted as its first deputy managing director. Current first deputy managing director Jeffrey Okamoto announced that she will leave early next year. Gopinath is the first woman to serve as the IMF's chief economist. Gopinath said that had in fact said in October that she planned to rejoin Harvard University to retain her tenure facility post after 3 years of public service. Now she said that she's honored and humbled to become the IMF's next first deputy managing director. As the pandemic continues its grip on us, work of the International Monetary Fund has never been more critical, she said, going on to say that international cooperation has never been more important. Gopinath will take the lead on surveillance and related policies. She will oversee research and flagship publications and help foster the quality standards for the IMF publications.